At it. It's A.T.P Combat Media Show. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for showing up. Have a seat, have a seat, have a seat. As usual, we are going to cook today. We are going to cook today. Sit back, relax. Thank you guys for showing out and showing up for the kid. Thank you for all the support I've been getting. You know, I really appreciate it. Had to do a plug in today. Another plug. We're going to keep this content coming as consistently as we can. You know, at the end of the day, it's about perspective. You know, people have their own opinions and their own perspectives on things, and that's what's up. Everybody's entitled to that, you know. So I thought I'd share a little bit. Topic of the day: Gervonta "Tank" Davis, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevens, Teofimo Lopez, Lomachenko, Vasily Lomachenko, and other lightweights alike. What is the question of the day? The question of the day is, do these fighters actually need each other in order to cement their legacy in boxing? Do they need each other? What a powerful, profound word, need. Well, let's talk about it. You know, you have to ask yourself, when you look back in history, when you look at the Sugar Ray Leonards versus Duran, or, you know, Sugar Ray Leonards versus Marvelous Marvin Hagler, or Tommy the Hitman Hearns versus Marvelous Hagler, or, you know, Holyfield versus Riddick Bowe, or Mike Tyson versus Holyfield. And I'm sure we can go down this list, right, of all these great fights and fighters that have happened over history. And you have to ask yourself, if these guys didn't fight each other, would they be who they are today for us? Man, that's a real good question, because when you really think about it, you want to give these fighters their credit in saying that these fighters were great before they fought these guys, right? We knew Mike Tyson was Mike Tyson before he fought Holyfield, or before he fought Larry Holmes. You know, we knew. The eye test told us who they were, but ultimately, until Mike Tyson knocked out Larry Holmes, right? Until Marvin Hagler knocked out Tommy the Hitman Hearns, until these fights happened, they didn't happen, right? Let's be honest, and that's what the whole story is about, from my point of view. Until these things happen, should we be sitting here speaking as if they've already happened? I don't know. You know, I think if it was up to the fans, maybe they wouldn't need to happen at that time, because, you know, when you're a fanatic of a fighter, you know, he's already pulled the trigger in your mind, and you've already crowned him who he needs to be. And today, with pay-per-view and the amount of money circulating in the boxing world today, a lot of these fighters become money focused. You know, look, as they should. They're prize fighters. They should definitely be focused on making that generational wealth that's going to take them, that's going to, you know, help the generations beyond them be successful, right? Or not have to work hard for a living and things of that nature, work for somebody else for a living, should I say. But ultimately, what is the foundation of this boxing thing? The foundation of this boxing thing, to boxing fans at least, because these new boxing fans, they actually think the fighter who makes the most money is the best fighter in the world. They feel like that. You know, he's making the most money, so he's the best boxer in the world. I'd say from time to time that happens, but I don't think that's always the case, because, you know, one guy makes the most money. What about everybody else? Is everybody else not good because they're not making as much money? I don't know. I'll leave that to your unique and entitled opinion to figure out what that means to you. But I'll say, to me, you know, no, it's not about the money, and we need to get out of these fighters' pockets. Whatever money they're making, millions, thousands, whatever it is they're making, is none of our business. Enjoy boxing. And before money was legacy. It was about who is the best. Today you hear people talking about how legacy doesn't matter, how they don't care about legacy. This wasn't the case back in the day. You know, back in the day, fighters looked for the best fighter. Whoever that guy was who supposedly was the best is who you ultimately wanted to fight and beat to be the best. You understood without fighting that fighter, you weren't comfortable saying you are the best. You just weren't comfortable. So when Terrence Crawford speaks to how people are comfortable with email champions and people receiving championship belts in the email and one fighter letting go of a belt, so automatically giving the next fighter the belt, that's what he's talking about. Is boxing has changed a lot over the past few years. So today, what are we dealing with? We're looking at Gervonta Tank Davis, who's a superstar, possibly quite arguably the face of boxing today. And fans are still complaining, right? They're still saying, we want to see him fight who we want to see him fight. We still want to see him fight Devin. We want to see him fight Shakur. We want to see him fight Vasily Lomachenko. We want to see him fight all these guys. And why do they want to see these fights? They want to see these fights because as much as they have their eye test tells them what they're looking at, they know until the fight happens, until they see the result of that fight, in the back of their mind, they know there are boxes that just aren't checked. That's all it is and all it comes down to. And it has nothing to do with money sometimes. So today, Devin, Haney, and Gervonta Tank Davis are trading war of words over online social media platforms and speaking about money openly. Back in the day, this wasn't happening, right? There wasn't these platforms for them to speak on. So today, you'll hear Devin Haney's father say, I want $30 million just like Ryan got. And Gervonta will say, I'm going to give you 10% because you're only worth this. And then now the fans are jumping into the middle of these conversations that have nothing to do with them going, nah, Devin don't deserve. Gervonta deserves. Gervonta doesn't need. Devin needs. All these conversations. Well, here it is at the end of the day from these fighters' point of views. And that's why I respect these fighters like I do. Gervonta had made it clear already, I'm about ready to wrap this up. A few more years, I'm done with this. I want to do this. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. But before I go, there are people on the list that I need to fight. And why does he need to fight them? He doesn't need to fight them because of you guys. He needs to fight that for himself. He needs to have those fighters in the books. He wants to have it done because 50 years from now, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, he wants people to look back and say that guy was the best because in that era, he fought everybody that there was there to fight. So when these fights come to a point where they need to be put together, the negotiation process, the approach that Gervonta Tank Davis, the A side of the negotiation, 10 out of 10 times, you can say 9.5 to 10 out of 10 times, the A side approach that he approaches the negotiation with, he probably will still carry it, but it's going to be a different look than how he negotiated to fight Ryan Garcia possibly, or Isaac Cruz, or Leo Santa Cruz. It's going to be different because these fights matter. These fights aren't only exclusively about money. They're also about legacy. These specific fights are about that, and the negotiation will reflect the importance of the fight to the fighters that are negotiating. That's the way it's going to be. So boxing fans and fanatics, casuals across the board, we're speaking to all of you guys. Get back into boxing. I urge you guys to consider to get back into boxing. If you guys want to be in the business of boxing, then go find a fighter to manage. Go make some money off of it. If you're talking money, go get some money out of it. Stop talking about other people's money that you can't touch. We don't condone that type of energy here on the A.T.P. Combat Media Show. The money is not our business. These fights will happen because they need to happen. As long as Devin Haney and Shakur Stevens and Vasily Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis and go down the list of fighters, as long as they're at the top of the game, as long as they're part of the best conversation, then they all need to fight each other. They all, if God willing, in a boxing world where legacy matters, they will fight each other. And that's just the way it's going to go. So, I'm not going to say too long in it, but I wanted to address it once and for all. I've seen enough platforms, and you see groups of people speaking to each other about boxers' money and their value and the reasoning why, because of their value, they don't need to what they don't need to do. And very rarely are these conversations bringing up legacy. Like, legacy is like taboo to even bring up in these rooms because they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear it. Well, I beg to differ, and I urge you guys to consider becoming boxing fans. I urge you guys to consider seeing the best fights in your lifetime, to see them happen, and not to see them not happen because money was an issue or because one guy's star power was bigger than another guy's star power, so we never got to see the fight. I urge you guys to consider trying that on because that's what this is about. That's what I'm here for. I want to see these fights for that reason. I want to see Terrence Crawford fight Jaron Boots Ennis because of how great the fight is going to be. Granted, Terrence Crawford may jump into legacy fights and all other things, and I'll enjoy it as well, but let's not get it twisted. It's not always about money. It's not always about money. When Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford got into negotiations to put the fight together, you know, people thought that Terrence Crawford wasn't worth nothing and that Errol was worth everything. So when they heard rumors of the negotiation being 70-30 and things of that nature, they thought it was more than fair. They thought it was more than fair because who's Terrence? Errol is this, who's Terrence? Well, thank God Errol Spence is a true boxing enthusiast, a true student of the game, a true student of the space that he's in, and he understood the significance of this fight, and he didn't allow money to get in the middle of seeing history be made. Thank God. You know, we hope that the other fighters that we watch have the same mentality because if they continue to sit here and pin everything and base everything on some bottom dollar, especially when you've already made it. When Gervonta Davis, in about a year or 2 years, I find it hard to believe that he's going to be sitting here harking on money as bad as he is today. He's just going to be rich enough to where he'll be able to negotiate a little bit more. He'll have a little bit more concession on his side, just the way Errol did. When Errol was ready to concede a little bit and be like, you know what, give him what he wants, man. This fight needs to happen. And then that's when we'll see great things happening in boxing. And fanatics across the board, you guys need to jump on the ship of boxing. Become a fan of boxing again. Pray to God. Tell him, use me. Use me, please. Use me for your glory. and shake that energy. Shake that energy that you have where you're all in some other pocket, some other boxer's pocket, talking about their money like it's your money. We don't need to see that, man. We want boxing to be what it's supposed to be. Shout out to Floyd Mayweather. Shout out to the guys who showed you guys how to get money in the game. There's nothing wrong with getting money in the game. But the difference between you guys and Floyd is Floyd fought the guys he's supposed to fight. His legacy, his biggest part of his legacy is not the money he's made. The biggest part of his legacy is that he's fought more champions than anybody else has in the history of boxing. That's what that man hangs his hat on. He hangs his hat on 23 champions. Don't never get it twisted. The money's great. He brought the business to the game. Shout out to Leonard Ellerby. You know, we appreciate and respect you guys. But you guys are trying to get the money, but you're not ready to do what he did. Floyd also didn't drink, smoke, stay close to fighting weight. Yeah. Talk about the other stuff as well. Don't just look for the money. You know, but on that note, we're going to keep it moving and I'm going to holler at you guys. Do me a favor, guys. Like, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you think. Am I crazy? I probably am. It won't be the first time I heard it, but I love the likes, but I don't mind the dislikes. It's all good. But until the next one, it's your boy Claymore Ring. This is the ATP Combat Media podcast and show. You guys have a great Thanksgiving. You guys have a great holiday. We'll see you guys next time. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.